Hey, what up, everybody? It's your boy Trevor, back with another rock and metal news video. So before we get into today's video of should cell phones be used at concerts, this person says, I don't use my phone at concerts, but my view is if you're paying to be there, you should be able to at least have your phone on you and not be treated like a child, because they're going to lock it up in like this little purse type of thing that is locked. So even if your phone's ringing or someone needs to get a hold of you, you can't open it unless the primary person, like a security guard, opens it. But take a listen to this, what Zakk Wylde has to say on this whole topic before we get into it.
Go see Zeppelin tomorrow, back when we were 15, and Jimmy Page was playing with his violin, so, you know, with the violin bow. We'd be filming it, right? Well, yeah. I go, that's the end of the conversation. No, I just laugh. I go like this. I go, we'd be doing the same thing.
Right.
I go, just because we're not beating the shit out of each other doesn't mean we're not enjoying the show. I go, when I've seen the Allman Brothers, we're having a great time. Just because a bunch of our friends aren't knocking each other's teeth out doesn't mean we're not having a good time. If they're watching the show, they're filming it. Like if we're watching Zeppelin, that doesn't bother me at all. I couldn't care less. I mean, to me, it doesn't mean that they didn't have a good time. It's just you have different crowds for different things. Other crowds are just it's Moss City, and they're really involved in the show. And other people are like, oh wow, you didn't like the show? It's like, no, we had a great time.
There's just so much going on. Between
the
stage set and also the screens. You know.
Well, here then here's my argument with that with everyone with the filming thing. Where they go, how lame is this? I go, wow. I bet you wish we had cameras around when Randy Rhoads was around, no, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, because there's no footage of St. Rhodes, so I'm just saying it would be pretty great if everybody had their cameras then. Right. You wouldn't be complaining about it then, would you?
The funniest thing, let me tell you.
So it's cut and dry, like Zakk Wylde said. Now you get to see these artists that were performing 20 or 30 years ago. And I'll ask anybody in the comment section below, how often do you go back and watch like old footage of Dimebag Darrell and Pantera, old Slayer footage, old whatever footage, and you could tell they were shot on like a handy cam, like somebody was filming in the crowd? Let me ask you, do you like doing that? And they'll go, of course I do. Then you have no argument, because if it's okay then, why is it not okay now? The only difference is people are filming on these things instead of filming on a camera. And people like Randy Blythe's The Lamb of God is crazy. I'm a big fan of his, but I'm not a fan of what he says. He says clearly, I don't like people filming because when people are filming, it makes me feel like I'm bored. I'm a boring ass artist and people aren't having fun. Like again, Zakk Wylde says it doesn't mean they're not having fun by filming, but he says in the same interview, people should not be filming. But in the 1980s, I'm glad people filmed because I can go back and watch footage of my youth of seeing the Bad Brains and the bands that I grew up listening to. Make that make sense. So now that the band Ghost is saying this, they don't realize that bands are getting a lot more notoriety from people filming because it's free advertisement. Because you're getting bands that normally might not get popular on social media. It happened with the Bad Omens. It happened with Sleep Token. These bands have blown up because of people filming and uploading them to the internet. Again, the question is, would you be okay if this was a 4-day music festival and you can't use your phone? A lot of people film because it gives the fans an opportunity to see a show that they normally might not be able to get an opportunity to go to. People don't realize that there's a lot of people that want to go see certain shows and see certain artists, but they just don't have the money. So, for an example, when you go see a band like Ghost, is it going to change the experience if you see like a show or actually go there? There's nothing gonna ever change the experience of actually being at that venue, at that place. There's nothing gonna change that. If I go see Rammstein, it's gonna be a different experience than what I get through a video. But again, telling people that are grown ass adults you can't use your phone and your phone will have to be put in a pouch is disturbing. But it's contradicting a lot of artists that say, I don't want filming at my show for X, Y, and Z purposes. Those same artists will say, well, in the 1980s, I'm glad that X, Y, and Z artist was being recorded so I can go back and watch those shows because I can go back and look at my youth and look at these artists that I did like. And you go, contradicting yourself. Because today, if you get people filming bands like this, in 30 years, people will be able to go back and watch these shows of these artists that are performing now. And I guarantee it, none of those artists on the stage are saying the people that are filming, they're not paying attention to the show, because people are going to still enjoy the show. Like Zach was saying, some artists their shows are very violent. The crowd's moshing, crowd surfing, going crazy. There are some shows where people just want to sit there and watch the show. And I'll tell you, right there, it's the Beach Boys. And you see there's people filming. Those aren't young kids. Those are people in their 60s and 70s that are filming the show. Why? Because they want to remember the show. Yes, there's not as many people filming as there are at like a rock show. But again, people are still filming it because they want to remember it. And that is why those people were filming or taking a little selfie or a little picture. But the band on stage isn't sitting there telling people, turn your phone off, pay attention. Because regardless of what people think, when you hold your phone up in front of your face, you're still paying attention to the show. So with that being said, guys, I think there's a lot of people that would still say to this day, oh, I love going back and watching X, Y, and Z band. And there's still people that are just like, I call them old heads. I'm 40, but I understand where a lot of old heads would go, haha, you should put your phone down, son, and just watch the show for what the show is. But Zach Wilde has a point that if people are filming back then, you'd be able to see Randy Rhoads in his prime, see Cliff Burton in his prime, see all these legends that you couldn't see. And Charlie Benante, if you notice, if you watch the full interview, just type in Pantera interview and you'll see what I'm talking about. He's saying, well, people just want to upload the footage and be the first one to upload it to YouTube, and they want their video to go viral. He's saying, don't you wish they were filming when you were a kid so you can go back and watch all the shows that you missed out on? And he goes, well, yeah, that makes sense. Duh. That's the same thing that Rennie Blythe says. The same thing that the Tool singer says. I like the fact that I can go back and watch the bands in my youth that I never got the opportunity to see. Then why are you changing your mind today? As always, people are the same way with Ghost. They're going to say, hey, at least Ghost got some fan footage so people can go back and watch it. But this new tour, it's going to turn a lot of people off. A lot of people that I know are like, I don't care about Ghost. And even if they did, they're like, nah, I'm not interested in going because I'm not locking my phone up in a little purse and not being able to use it when I need it. So as always, that's my take on it, and I will see you guys next time.